RuPaul, all dressed up. He's all dressed up, and about to launch the 10th season of his TV show. He is RuPaul, the master of a performance art with a very long history, as Nancy Giles now shows us. Since the ancient Greeks, men have been dressing in women's clothing on stage. Men portrayed women in the plays of William Shakespeare. And many of us grew up watching Flip Wilson and Milton Berle on TV, or Tony Curtis and Jack Lemmon in the movie Some Like It Hot. Then there's Australian comic Barry Humphries, the irrepressible Dame Edna. Drag-wearing clothing of the opposite sex has come a long way. Now remember, if you can't love yourself, how the hell are you gonna love somebody else, said RuPaul. Can I get an amen up here? Amen, echoed a chorus of drag queens. RuPaul's Drag Race is a top-rated TV game show beginning its 10th season. Contestants. Yes, they're all men, compete for prizes and the title America's Next Drag Superstar. RuPaul's Drag Race Season 10, Queens RuVeal premieres Thursday, March 22, 8/7 VH1 by VH1 on YouTube. At the center of it all, RuPaul, arguably the most successful drag performer of all time, and the winner of not one, but 2 Emmy Awards. It's on track to become VH1's most watched series. I think RuPaul's Drag Race, at its core, is about the tenacity of the human spirit, RuPaul told Giles. To watch a boy play with feminine things in a society that is so masculine, and come through it, and find their fire and their own voice, is a very powerful thing. It's not just a TV show. Fans line up at his pop-up store in Los Angeles to buy RuPaul merchandise. One fan said, "He's a great role model, for sure." Another fan said, "Even my family, who is from the conservative Midwest, has watched RuPaul's Drag Race and really loves it." Sunday morning. Judge Judy hands down her opinion on RuPaul. In this web exclusive, RuPaul, star of RuPaul's Drag Race, expresses his devotion to Judge Judy, and here's via Nancy Giles a special message And Thursday nights are drag nights at gay bars across the country. They just happen, that's the great part, said Chris McCarthy, president of VH1. It happens in every city all over the country, and in many places, the smaller the city, the bigger the party. Giles said, "I know there are, probably, people who don't really dig what you do. What would you say to them? What other people think of me is none of my business," RuPaul replied. "But I also know that this show is for the kids out there who are looking for some type of guidance. These kids on our show have been through hell, literally. Their families have thrown them out of the house. They've been abused and beaten up. But they have come through and shined. That is the lesson right there." RuPaul Andre Charles was born in San Diego in 1960. Almost from the first, let's just say he stood out in a crowd. "People in my family, my mother and father, basically ignored it," he said. "You know, it wasn't something that they knew how to deal with. The kids in the neighborhood would say, 'You're a sissy.' I'm like, 'Oh, okay, you know. But because I am a sweetheart, no one ever really came for me in a really negative way." He says his parents' marriage was not a good one. At age 15, RuPaul moved to Atlanta to live with his sister. And not long afterward, RuPaul Andre Charles became RuPaul. "I was always looking for the way to fit onto this planet," he said. "And I love to dress up. Through drag I was able to find out who I really am. Period." He danced in bars and joined bands. Drag was never about wanting to be like a woman. It was always about challenging identity values of society, and saying, "I am whatever I put on." Michelle Visage, a longtime friend and a female judge on the show, said, "I think drag is an escape. It allows them to be somebody that maybe they aren't in real life. And I tell parents that are religious, or don't want to accept their gay child, that they don't have to approve it, they just have to accept it. Their kids aren't looking for their approval. Just accept them for who they are." RuPaul says he found acceptance when he moved to New York. He appeared in the B-52's famous Love Shack video. The B-52's, Love Shack, official music video, by Rhino on YouTube. Then he was the guy, girl, in the super dance hit Supermodel. RuPaul, Supermodel, original extended version, by Telegenics on YouTube. Soon, there were radio and TV shows. Thanks to RuPaul, drag has come a long way. He's come a long way, too. Today, he's living his dreams. A collector of vintage cars, he showed Giles his 1968 Mercedes 280 SL. That is a badass car, Giles said. Then, a few years ago, he met Georges Labar, an Australian painter and rancher. They married last year. And consider this, in 2017 Time magazine named RuPaul one of the most influential people in the world. I didn't set out to do that, but I was smart enough to realize this is my calling, he said. You have to be open enough to hear the universe's stage directions. For more info. RuPaul's Drag Race, Thursdays on VH1 STORY, produced by Jay Kernis.
Wow.